You're basically just living in the future, and like I said, like Eckhart Tolle said, like Buddhists said, if that's actually where it's from, the future does not exist yet.
For the rugged. Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price for y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all.
Hello, what's going on? My name is Miguel, and if this is your first time on this channel, what I like to talk about here is everything business and self-development related. And on this particular video, I'm going to be talking about how to get yourself out of a downward spiral. So first, I should probably explain what the hell a downward spiral is. And majority of us have found ourselves in this at one point or another. It's when you feel like everything keeps going wrong over and over and over again. Your brain is attacking itself, so you keep finding multiple ways why you're not good enough, why you should be in the position that you're in, why there's no way you can do what everyone else is doing, and you're most likely depressed in some sort of way. You might be suicidal. Not only that, but bad shit keeps happening. Maybe you're finding out that some of your friends are fake. You may be like addicted to drugs or something, and you have an idea of what it is that you would like to do, of something that you would like to accomplish, but for whatever reason, you cannot get yourself out of this downward spiral. You just keep going further and further and further inside of the pit, and the light at the top is looking further and further and further away every single day. What do you do to get yourself out of this downward spiral? This is an area that I do feel comfortable talking about because I have been in that downward spiral before, all the way from about a couple of years inside of middle school as well, but from about senior year of high school all the way to sophomore year of college, so a good 3.5 years I spent stuck inside this giant rut of depression where all I was really thinking about was wanting to kill myself. And it was very weird. Like, the main reason why I felt like that at all, there was obviously multiple reasons, but the main reason was because everyone around me was pretending like they wanted to have something to do with me, but in the end, they just decided to not want anything to do with me after a while. There's obviously more to that, but that's all I feel comfortable talking about on camera at the moment. That may change in the future, but I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. So not only that happened, but I was in a new school and I felt like everyone around me was so much better than me. I've never been in an art school before. I went to an art school to make video games, but everyone around me was already like practicing that already, so everyone was so much better, and I had no idea what I was doing. My future felt and looked bleak. I was listening to very sad music. If you've ever heard of Elliott Smith, I was listening to a lot of that. I was listening to a lot of Eminem's album, Marshall Mathers LP, the first one, where he's like tucked off in a corner. It's like a black and white cover, and he's like tucked off into the corner like in a ball, and he's like talking about like killing people and how like mad he is, and he was on drugs while he was, and depressed while he made that album. So I was listening to that all the time. I was hanging around with people who did not elevate me. All we did was smoke weed, and I got to like listen to them complain about stuff. I was working customer service. I was having people yell at me all the time about how I was messing up their order, various types of things that was going on. My car kept breaking down, my bank account was getting shorter, and I was basically high out of my mind every single day. So how the hell did I manage to go from that to traveling around the world whenever I want to, hanging out with these large influencers who have huge audiences on YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, helping people build six-figure businesses, having a six-figure agency of my own, not smoking anymore, although I don't really see anything wrong with that. Living in New York with my own place, being able to move out of my parents' house. It's basically polar opposites. Like, if you saw past me and compared past me, fucking freshman year of college me to the me right now, you would think they were two completely different people. So how the hell did I manage to get myself out of that downward spiral? The first thing I would say for you, if you do feel like you are in a similar situation emotionally and psychologically, is, as weird as it's going to sound, as weird as it is going to sound, is to be grateful of the fact that you feel like that. Here's why. The only reason why you are looking at content like this, the only reason why you have gone through the trouble of looking up videos like this in order to improve yourself, in order to get better, is because you are in this crazy mental state that has you feeling like you're absolutely insane. I know, because at one point for like a month I thought I might have been schizophrenic, and that was what the problem was. So be grateful, because majority of people will never go out of their way to improve their mental state, to improve their physical state, and to actually get better, to become a better human being. Majority of people do not look at videos like this because nothing ever gets bad enough for them to feel like this is necessary in life. So if you have gone into such a crazy ass state to the point where you feel like watching a video like this is necessary, then go ahead and congratulate yourself, because you are already one step closer to being able to heal your mind. The next thing that I would say is to make sure that you are getting some sort of movement, because that in and of itself is going to be very, very, very beneficial to yourself. What helped me was working out. I just started lifting weights like crazy, and the act of that improvement was very beneficial to the entire growth process. And that's another thing. It's going to be a process. You're not going to wake up one night and be like, okay, I feel better now. It took me, I wouldn't say like I got into like a very good mental state until about a couple of months ago, where like I feel like on a consistent basis like I'm good. Every now and then, especially before now, I would sink back into those moments, nowhere near as bad, but I would sink back into those moments where I start getting into that whole victim mentality and woe is me, and why aren't things the way I would like them to be, da 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 da. But I would know that that's just my mind going back into that old habit, and I would just basically chill out and just let that be, and then I would be good like the next day majority of the time. That still happens from time to time now, but same thing. I just kind of expect it, and then it goes away, and then I'm good. Just keep in mind that it's going to be a process that was like, if I'm saying I'm barely good, like I would consider myself to be at a state of like, cool, I'm like near perfection. That took it took about 3 years. So about the same amount of time that I was like in that crazy mental state. So just keep that in mind. But back to the topic at hand, working out was an activity that brought a lot of benefit. Maybe you don't have to lift weights, maybe you do yoga, maybe you like pick up a sport, something like that. Something that actually gets you active and moving, and it's a very visual representation of the improvement that you are making, because you can't help but look at yourself and be like, man, I'm shredded. Man, I put on some muscle mass. Wow, that's awesome. The number on the scale is going down. That's really dope. Or, wow, the number on the scale is going up. Like for me, I was putting on size, I was putting on muscle, and it was healthy muscle. I was eating a lot better, which is actually another point. Sometimes it's just your diet. You'd be surprised how much your diet actually affects your mental state. There's a very good book called The Ultra Mind Solution. I'll go ahead and save you a few hours, but you're more than welcome to read it. Basically, the shit that you eat is actually very influential over how your brain operates. And majority of people are eating a bunch of shitty fast foods, a bunch of processed foods, but the biggest thing is that they're not actually getting vegetables. So many people don't eat vegetables and don't drink a ton of water. And what Mark Hyman, I believe, is the author of that book, what he found was once he was able to change a bunch of people's diets, a bunch of people who have taken like years and years and years of therapy were saying that their anxiety and their depression was cured within a matter of like just a month or two, all because they changed their diet for the better. So just keep that in mind. Your diet might be fucking up your brain and you don't even know it. Not only that, you'll actually become smarter once you start eating better. Another thing that helped out a lot was meditation. The reason why meditation helps so well is because it's going to quiet your mind down significantly. What people expect for meditation to be like is they expect them to not have any thoughts whatsoever, but that's not the goal for meditation. The goal for meditation is to being able to actually control your thoughts. At least that's what it is for me, for someone who thinks about 1,000,000 miles per minute. And if you yourself are in this downward spiral and depressed state, then chances are your mind is working in a very similar fashion where you can't seem to quiet the chatter that's going on up there. And the chatter 9 times out of 10 is what it is that's fucking you up. So cool thing about meditation in this regard is that all you're doing is sitting there in silence for as little as 5 minutes. You can go up to 20 minutes if you're up for it, but all you're really trying to do is sit there and count your breaths, and every single time you catch yourself thinking, stop the thought and go back to the breath. That will get you into the habit and build up the mental strength. Let's call these reps. You're trying to get reps in, and that's going to be a stronger reflex inside of your brain in the long run. So as you're going about your day, whenever your brain goes into that state where it's like, oh, da 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 da, you're not good enough, da 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 da, blah 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 blah, oh, they're judging you, da 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 da, you'll have this natural habitual reflex now where you shut that up and you just go to counting your breath. So that can be very, very, very beneficial. The next thing that's going to be greatly beneficial is you want to pay very close attention to the way that you talk to yourself. This is what a lot of people do not pay attention to, and it's going to hold you back significantly if you don't pay very, very, very close attention to how it is that you speak to yourself. Do you have a very defeatist attitude? Do you phrase things in a certain way? There's this thing that people like to do where they like to blame their state of mind on the weather. They'll say, oh, it's wintertime and that's why I'm sad. Just basically just taking all control and putting it on something. Like, you can't control the weather. You have no control over that. So of course I'm sad. So there's that. People like to place all of their blame on other people. People like to say, oh, this is just the way I am. They like to label themselves as this depressed person. It has a lot to do with the way that you talk to yourself. So you want to make sure that you are always putting everything and anything in a positive frame of mind, even if it's ridiculous. What you can do is, there's this thing I got from Tony Robbins. I don't remember exactly where I got it from, but he has a thing where he does like a 30-day positive challenge where you basically put a positive frame on everything, even if it sounds ridiculous. If you stub your toe, be like, well, it's so awesome that happened because now I won't do that anymore and I won't have to deal with this pain again. If you get fired from your job, go, oh my God, this is awesome. This gives me an opportunity to find a job that I'll love even more. Or this gives me even more time to spend with my kid in the meantime while I'm going to look for another job. Or this gives me the opportunity and the kick in the ass that I need to start my own business. You want to put everything in a positive frame of mind for 30 days. You want to do it very consciously and very ridiculously. And you'll notice that in the end, you'll feel way better just because of that. I could honestly make a video, like I could talk about this kind of stuff for hours because I've done so much research on this topic because I've been in that frame of mind, but I'll go ahead and end it with this last one. You want to go ahead and practice the power of now. And what that is it's a concept created by, I think it was created by Buddhists, but the book was written by a guy named Eckhart Tolle. Awesome guy. He's hilarious to me. If you watch any of his videos and you just hear him talk, like when he's doing his seminars, it's absolutely funny the way he answers people's questions, in my personal opinion. But what the power of now is, it's a philosophy that you can take on life. And it's honestly true. All unhappiness stems from not focusing on the present moment, which is the only thing that exists. People get anxious because they are uncertain about something that's going to happen in the future, but the reason why that's ridiculous is because the future does not exist yet. And there's no way for you to predict the future. So nine times out of 10, we place some like crazy convoluted thing in the future that usually will never actually come to fruition, but we're too busy feeling anxious to ever take that into account. And the reason why we tend to get depressed is because we are unhappy about something that happened in the past. But that is equally as ridiculous because the past has already happened and it no longer exists. The only thing that is relevant is here and now, this present moment. This is the only thing that's good. This is the only thing that exists. So if this exact moment is fine, and I literally mean this exact moment, so you could like have bills that you have to pay, but you're not sure how you are going to pay them, unless you were spending time in your mind trying to figure out a solution to that problem, then you're not focusing on the present moment. You can go into your brain and go like, okay, maybe I can do this, and this to solve that problem. But if you're just in your brain going, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to pay that bill. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. you're basically just living in the future. And like I said, like Eckhart Tolle said, like Buddhists said, if that's actually where it's from, the future does not exist yet. And the other thing is, a lot of people tend to get upset with where they are in this present moment, even though nothing is actually that bad. Like, if you like really were to take into account like what it is, I mean, you're watching this video, so shit can't be that bad because you have the internet. But if you really just take it into account, everything that you have going on around you, it's like you're alive first and foremost. And yeah, I get it, you may have had a family member that died, you may be in a very tough situation, you may have cancer, stuff like that, and I'm very empathetic towards all of that. I understand how that could throw you for a loop and make it much harder to buy into this philosophy, but I truly do believe that you should take the time to get very present to the moment and stop resisting what is happening right now. Stop being upset like you're good. So I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. I highly suggest you check out The Power of Now, because there's no way I can explain it better than Eckhart Tolle. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I highly appreciate it. If you learned anything, if you got any value, I would ask that you like and subscribe to this video. If there's anything else you would like me to talk about, go ahead and leave a comment below and I'll go ahead and respond to that for you. So once again, thank you and see you in the next video. Peace.